in shells where they're chomping to go, and you got to teach the young ones how to thud tackle, okay, and teach them what physical contact looks like, without going to the ground. And then the old ones, you got to kind of hold them back a little bit. But the competition at the end of practice was really, really good today. Pleased with that. We've made improvement. I think it's been a solid start to camp. Now their bodies probably need tomorrow. We got all the typical, groins, hamstrings, all the stuff from all the running and change of direction that you can condition how you want to in the summer, but it's different than a college football practice. So, but I think a positive start to camp. Be good to get the film this afternoon, get a day off to take care of their bodies tomorrow, and then next week's a big week for us.
You mentioned the older guys being maybe a little too physical, but as a coach, would you rather kind of have to motor them back or kick them in the butt and say, hey, it needs to be more?
Well, no, I want them physical. In fact, I want them more physical than they are. It's just, you got to be able to thud ball carriers, and I don't want them on the ground, and so that's, they're, and I'm on their butt about, thudding the kids up. And so it's just getting kind of back into the groove of things. But, you definitely want them on the other side of being, a very physical competitor. And that's, we've got a lot of guys who've been in the program for a couple of years, and that's kind of what we hang our hat on. So that's why, today we got in that competition. We had third down competition today. And they went at each other. Now it was good.
Coach, 4 days in, what has stood out to you most at this point?
Rajay Harris is just fine. That's the biggest thing. You can't even tell he ever had an injury. He's very confident. He's running decisively. He's looked really, really good. I think our offensive line, I've been pleased with the progress we're making right there. We still got to figure out, who goes where exactly, but we're making strides there. We are long and can run at the second and third level on defense. Got to get everybody playing together. Got some new guys out there. We got a lot of competition. I think our kickers have been very, very good. We got multiple guys competing right now, and the reason there's multiple guys is because all of them are doing a good job. So.
Still early on, what do you think about the chemistry, and where does it need to go between quarterbacks and wide receivers?
Well, I think we're getting there. I think you look at the guys that have been together for a while. Obviously, they have better chemistry. Kerry, Josiah, Jalen, Shane, and the quarterbacks. They have good chemistry. The thing is who are the next guys? I think Brock and Jari have both had really solid starts to camp. But now, as the heat gets turned up, and by next Tuesday it'll be turned all the way up. Then it gets closer to what a game's going to be like, and the chemistry then is what's important. So still, got to get the new guys, kind of on the same page. But I think the chemistry from the returning guys is pretty good right now.
How has the competition between the quarterbacks looked after week one?
Well, I think both of them have done a lot of positive things. I think Mason has been very, very good the last 2 days. Really pleased with, he's all of a sudden he's making checks pre-snap. He's seeing things. I think the game has slowed down for him. Made a couple of really nice plays today. Alex has such good touch on the ball. He's made some really nice throws. So I think they're both having a strong start.
How's the back and forth between offense and defense? Is anybody winning so far that battle, and is it a good competition?
It's a good competition. The third down competition was 3-2. We had 5 third down situations, and they get one shot at each of them. So the offense won today 3-2, but it was highly competitive. And we're not tackling to the ground, so there's still a little bit of gray on some of it, but it was pretty close. So the competition is really good, which is what we need.
The competition at the X receiver, I know you guys are rotating a lot of guys there. Anybody making plays thus far early in camp?
Right now, it's those guys I mentioned. And so maybe we're going to have to put one of them out there at X receiver, which I'm fine with. They can do it. And they've all played the H, the Z, and the X. So they all know all three. Those guys are the ones right now. But you got a couple that are dealing with some injury stuff right now, so we need to get them back out there pretty quick. But really like what we've seen from those handful of guys I mentioned.
When you look at the transfers and even the freshmen that got in the spring, do you see kind of a jump that they've made over the summer to now?
Well, I think the ones that were here in the spring, I see more. They're ready to play with us. I think some of the new ones coming in, so they're still adjusting to some stuff. And, I don't know how things are done, where they're from or whatever. But you better be ready to compete when you step on the field between those lines with our kids, because they're going to go at it, and you can't be meek and you can't be timid. I mean, if you are, you get eaten alive out there. So, but I think the kids who were with us in the spring have been very, very pleased with the way they have started fall camp. Rah-Rah, I think he's having a very strong start to camp. I think Tamir is much improved, and that's just two off. BJ, Taquan. I mean, those guys, because they've been around us. And I think the other new ones, they'll be fine. It's not like they're not out there competing. It's just they don't quite have the chemistry that the other kids have.
You talked about Rajay a while ago, and we know what Marlon Gunn brings to the table in the run game.
Very, very good day today.
You talked a lot about Javius Bond in the spring. Yeah. How's his transition been into the fall so far?
I mean, he belongs. He looks like he belongs out there. I know he's still a freshman. He's never played a college snap, but he looks like he belongs. And I think Gerald Green looks like the experienced back he is. I mean, that room I feel very, very good about. You're going to have depth. You're going to be able to play several guys. The challenge for the coaches is going to be, finding the snaps. Maybe it's got to play, more than one in the game together. I don't know, but I feel very good about that room.
You mentioned some linebackers a moment ago, and Miles and Xavier played a ton of football here.
Yep.
So how does that room look right now, as far as your confidence in them to put them on the field?
Very good. I mean, I think Taylor Jackson, Mike Edwards is, those two are playing very, very well. BJ is doing a lot of good stuff. The competition with Taquan and Zakai. There's those guys are doing a good job. The freshmen, they're going to be really, really good players in time, but they look like freshmen. So I feel really good about that group that I just mentioned right there, though.
Coach, you talked about working on third down defense. Was that something that was like a focus coming into this season for you guys?
Well, I think that, there's certain things that we did really, really well defensively last year, and there's certain areas where we need to improve. And, so that's what we spent a bulk of our offseason is looking at the areas that we need to improve. And, part of it was personnel, and so I think we addressed that. The other part is, some different things schematically, and so we've addressed that. And so, as you start today was we've been kind of first and second down the first 3 days. So today we introduced third down. Monday we'll introduce some red zone stuff. Tuesday with full pads we'll introduce some short yardage stuff. So you start to put in all the situations. The goal is by next Saturday for us to have everything installed and repped and ready. Special teams, offense, defense, where we can go out there and basically just tell the officials, all right, put the ball down and play a game. I think it's very important. This is the earliest we've got all the stuff in special teams wise, but I want to get as much live work with the special teams during preseason as I can.
Under a month from kickoff, what's the sense of urgency been like? Has there had to be any pushing, or have you guys really just hit the ground running?
No, I mean it's preseason camp, and these first couple of weeks is you focus on us, you focus on competing at a high level, you focus on figuring out who can play. And then you start worrying about where they can play. The urgency for kickoff will come about 2 weeks out. That's when we'll turn our attention to the opponent. But right now, we're just really focused on ourselves.
I know you're not focused on this, but any thoughts on Oregon, Washington in the Big Ten, Arizona, Big 12? I mean, it's crazy right now.
I care about East Carolina University. I want us to be in the best possible situation in the college football landscape as possible. And so anything that I have control over, I'm going to try to do the very best I can to make sure that that's what we're doing. So all I know is probably in 3 or 4 years, I have no idea what college football is going to look like. But East Carolina is going to be a part of it.